I decide to speedrun Luigi's Mansion. Except there's a kicker. Luigi is dead. Yes, in this speedrun, Luigi never makes it to the mansion alive. Unfortunately, he got jumped in the woods and now is a spooky spirit. A spooky spirit who has some pretty nice teeth. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, we're speedrunning Luigi's Mansion as a ghost. We'll call this new category Ghost Percent. And I'm going to walk you through the entire process of getting Luigi through that front door to slapping around Bowser in by far one of the most unconventional speedruns of Luigi's Mansion. It's going to be quite a fun trip. Now, Luigi's Mansion is full of all sorts of wacky spirits trying to best you in any way they can. And I'm a huge fan of ghosts and games based around spirits, so I was super excited when Platinum Games reached out about the newest game they just released. It's called World of Demons, and it's a hack-and-slash action game available on all iOS devices through Apple Arcade. In World of Demons, you'll cut your way through various foes with complex combos with your samurai of choice, each with their own weapons and skills. But your blade won't be your only tool, as there are over 100 different yokai you can recruit, summon, and have aid you. Your yokai can help you in many ways during battle, but some will also help you outside of battle too when exploring. With over 15 hours of gameplay and 16 different stages plus bonus levels, you'll have plenty of time to sharpen your blade to become a samurai master. The artwork in the game is beautifully rendered in a Japanese style, and being able to see them produce the powerful live music behind the scenes was honestly really cool. So, if you're ready to hack and slash your way to victory in World of Demons, subscribe to the Apple Arcade today by clicking the link in the description below. You can also follow the official World of Demons Twitter and Instagram pages to check out their game's style, unique battle system, and various yokai that appear in the game. And a big thanks to Platinum Games for sponsoring this video and supporting me as a creator. Now let's talk about our dead boy Luigi. So if you haven't seen an any percent speedrun before, it's essentially when a speedrunner clears a game using basically any means possible as long as they can get to the end credits. Usually anything goes, but sometimes these categories have banned mechanics. If the mechanics are banned, like instantly warping to the end credits with methods such as arbitrary code execution, as in basically reprogramming the game from within the game, then that speedrun category may be subdivided further. Current any percent runs for Luigi's Mansion rely on the player clearing out Area 1 in the mansion and using a treasure chest that spawns in Chauncey's room to clip out of bounds. From there, the player gets hit specifically so they rotate off center, which allows them to walk over collision they'd normally get hung up on. And then, they ultimately fall to the basement to start the final fight. So how can we reinvent this challenge to create something new? Well, Luigi being a ghost himself is a start. Much like the ghost of the mansion, Luigi can go where he pleases when he wants to. I mean, he's a ghost who can fly and travel through walls, which is honestly pretty overpowered, but in the end, speed is all that matters. Ghosts can still hurt me, and I still only start with a flashlight. So given those buffs, what ways can we finish the game even faster? Well, first and foremost, we need to obtain our weapon. Even if I can walk through walls and do all that ghost stuff, we still need the Poltergust in order to defeat the final boss. And we get the Poltergust immediately after the cutscene with Egad vacuuming up the spirits. Now in a normal any percent run, the runner will be using a save file that the game has already been cleared on. This lets them start over with the vacuum already obtained, and they get to skip out of all that jazz at the start. But since Luigi died before ever making it to the mansion, there is no post-game save, so we're on a new save file. So first pass through this area, I grabbed the key as fast as I could and triggered the cutscene upstairs. But even with that, it was pretty darn slow. The cutscene drags on and there's nothing we can do to speed it up. Even if we walk through walls, it doesn't do us any good to phase into the room because the cutscene trigger won't happen until the door is opened by the foyer key. So in this situation, it seems the only way we can get our vacuum is by unlocking the door. And that's entirely not true. I've made a lot of videos covering weird quirks in Luigi's Mansion, so I've spent a decent amount of time breaking the game. When it comes to accessing Egad's hideout, the only way to go there other than game events taking you there is to load a save. Toad doesn't spawn in the lobby until after you've made progress, but the toads in the other parts of the mansion are always loaded. So instead of wasting any time grabbing a key, we need to sprint for the nearest toad. There's one up on the balcony and there's another in the bathroom. Now I've timed both of these routes several times. I honestly thought the bathroom toad would be faster, because it didn't involve going upstairs. But this isn't the case. Since we can fly up the staircase, we only have to exit the study at its corner to appear on the balcony with Toad. Mashing through both conversations times out the conversations at 17 seconds versus 14.5. Both leave you at the point where you can initiate a save with Toad, and both are measured from the front door. Once we save, we just quit and reload our save and presto, we're with Egad in his lab. We've skipped the entire key fetch quest and the cutscene upstairs, saving us some precious time. We then smash through the conversation with Egad and then get forced into training. Unfortunately, there is no way to escape the training room even with their ghostly abilities, so we're stuck in here for the long haul. It's actually faster to just fail the training session by just flashing all the ghosts once. If they get flashed, they instantly vanish and it saves you some time from sucking them up. But I suppose the trade-off is there is longer dialogue at the end. Our vacuum speed is normal, unlike the faster Hidden Mansion variant though, so I think it is worth it just to flash the ghosts. As soon as our training ends, we're going to make a mad dash to the end of the game. Now, we don't want to take the default route. We're ghosts after all, so there's some options for optimizing speed. All the rooms in Luigi's Mansion are laid out in a grid essentially, and are loaded in right next to each other. Every room has floor collision too. However, there is a short gap between every room that exists. When Luigi steps between those gaps, he has the ability to fall to floors below him. So the true speed strategy here is to run straight for King Boo's room, but to choose the closest gap. The problem is the basement has the funkiest collision in the game. You can get hung up on the geometry on the outer walls since the absolute edges of the map are closer because there are fewer rooms in the basement. Running to the well and through the lion's mouth isn't ideal because it isn't optimized time-wise. The well is slightly off to the right of where the main foyer door is, but taking that route would essentially be like traveling down the perpendicular sides of a right triangle, whereas the hypotenuse will be quicker. But we can only pass through floors at overlap points in the rooms, so we have to choose our entry point carefully. There's a few things to note too. Two sides of the altar room are technically guarded by cutscene triggers that spell disaster if we hit them. There's the well cutscene, which butchers our time greatly, and then there's King Boo, who guards the door if you don't have enough boos collected. We need to avoid both of these. The weight room with Biff Atlas in it is actually perfect for this skip. If it was possible, the developers tried to line up walls with rooms when they could. So the exterior wall to the mansion lines up perfectly with the seam of the altar room. The problem is, we have to be quick, otherwise we'll trigger the cutscene. So the trick is to enter the dining room and then the projector room on your route so you avoid all jump scares in the hallway that can be caused by both the bomb ghost and the bowling ghost. You want to phase through the wall to the left of the vase and walk straight for the leftmost window. If done correctly, you'll appear to the left of the altar door and can go straight in to fight King Boo. But our smooth sailing has come to an end, because there's a really weird unexpected side effect of being a ghost when we enter the Bowser fight. So, you know how we can fly around and travel through walls? Well, for some reason, our wall traveling ability causes Bowser's spiked ball projectiles to float when thrown. It's quite silly, but once they bounce up, they get stuck in the sky. To make matters worse, our flying ability is restricted here. Another side effect of this fight is that we can no longer move when flying. So, what does this mean? Well, for starters, don't walk out of bounds. If you do, you'll get stuck and Bowser will probably either kill you or you'll be stranded forever. But we'll get back to that in a moment. Second, we need to align ourselves to each thrown projectile perfectly because you can't walk into it to pick it up. We need to anticipate where it is going, align our character under it, fly up into it, and hope that we are close enough to grab it, and far enough away so we don't get bumped and take minor damage. If either of these happen, you're basically screwed because you won't be able to grab it and you have to fall straight down really slowly before you can move again. Of course, Bowser will find you during this time and wreck you with his Inhale plus Fire Breath combo. To make matters worse, if you get hit by the explosion of the bomb, you can be sent out of bounds where you cannot recover. Because the process for grabbing bombs takes way longer too, Bowser's usually right up in your face as you're about to throw it. So sometimes you hurt him and yourself in the process. A few times I got pushed out of bounds and it just sucked. So we need to make Bowser throw the bombs to the center of the map, but not too far because he'll jump on us. It is possible to mid-air dodge Bowser somehow after he jumps, but it is very risky. And I stress again, you want to take zero risks because the fight is already super hard because of how annoying it is trying to grab the projectiles. This boss fight was the ultimate buzzkill for the run for me. After grinding away at this fight, hit by hit, suck by suck, yeah, that sounds a bit weirder than I thought. Anyways, after grueling over this fight, I finally defeated Bowser as a ghost and declared that this was one of the worst boss fights that I've done in a long time. It was fun experimenting in the mansion and routing the quickest paths to the end, but the Bowser fight just broke me. Too many weird factors that always felt like a coin flip in terms if they would work out or not. The threshold between grabbing a bomb, missing a bomb, or getting bumped by a bomb is so precise that it made me want to pull my hair out. So yeah, this is the Ghost Percent speedrun of Luigi's Mansion. We clear the game with 5,000 gold to our name and get ourselves a nice ghostly tent. I hope you enjoyed this bizarre reimagining. Subscribe if you're Team Ghost Luigi, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.